What's going on YouTube? Lorenzo Blake bringing it to you live. Now today's video is going to be about Mike Ohearn. I've been following Mike Ohearn since I was coming up. Just to give you some background on me, been bodybuilding over 30 years, qualified for nationals in 1987. I was a middleweight at the time, did not want to do what would have been required to get to the next level, and I didn't pursue it any longer. But I've kept in shape, like I said, for better than 30 years. Mike Ohearn is somebody who I've followed forever. I started following him back in the, I'd say 90, 92, 93 time frame. And he was already on the magazines. He was already on the romance novels, already making a name for himself. The man, he's a legend. I mean, the guy is so consistent that it's unbelievable. It's mind-boggling. Now, he's one of the most controversial people on YouTube because he claims that he's natural. And I want to bring a side to the evaluation of Mike Ohearn that's never really been discussed. Now, if you take a look at Mike Ohearn, the refinement is incredible. The fullness and density is incredible. Trains really heavy all the time. Eats perfect all the time. That's one of the best shots he's ever done right there, by the way. I think he's natural. And I know you guys are going to say you're out of your mind. What do you believe in, Santa Claus? Do you believe in the Easter Bunny too? I'm going to tell you why. And I've been giving this a lot of thought for a very long time. The reason I think he's natural, and the way I could prove this, what I would like to do is I would like to have an average sedentary male have a complete full body CAT scan, and then what we do is we make a 3D rendition of the skeletal structure of that average male's skeleton. And then what we do, there's an old shot of Mike. This is probably 20 plus years old. If you see back then, he was always nice and lean, wasn't really big back then. Where his body took a big turn, it was sometime around, I think, 2010. There's the most recent shot of him, which is absolutely unbelievable. And why it blows people away is because when you compare him to Rich Piana, who's an admitted gear user, 25, 30 years, he's like, bigger than Rich. And that's why people think that it's obvious that Mike's on gear and he's a liar and so on and so forth. Now we take that rendition of that average male, we do a CAT scan of Mike Ohearn, and what we do is we actually have a 3D rendition of Mike Ohearn's skeletal structure. And you will see that without a doubt, Mike is a big, structured man. Now for him to be able to lift the amount of weight that he lifts, which is not, I watched his lifts all the time. I mean, the incline 4 plates, yes, it's incredible, but it's not like world record. Okay? You have to understand, he has a skeletal structure and connective tissue which is much, much stronger, much fuller, much bigger, where his joints, where his bones come together. He's able to train under a heavier load due to his structure. The man also, if you look at that intensity in his face here, the man is extremely focused. And he's got passion for what he does. So I'm here to say that Mike Ohearn's natural. I want to hear the hate. I want to hear all the nonsense coming my way. Here we go. This is probably about the time he took it to the next level. I saw an interview or something years ago where he actually said sometime around when his mother died, it's either his mother or his father, he decided to just say, you know what, I'm going to dedicate my life to my mother's memory or something to that effect, and he stepped it up. Now what blows people away is How does he have such mass, and then he gets down to that extra special leanness that normally you can't have that much mass with that level of leanness, right? Most of the time that's the telltale. When you find that muscle fullness, that roundness, and you have that leanness, for most people that's the telltale sign of gear. So the bottom line is, I think he's natural. I think he's an extra special human. I think he's a rare individual. And I've always been impressed by him. And like I said, you guys say what you want, you know, the duck eggs and frog fitness and all the other, you know, controversy that's out there. I think the guy's a legend. There's a nice picture there. That's on the left. You'll take a look and you'll see that's kind of like a younger version of Mike, because even in his younger days, he really didn't have that level of refinement with that mass until around that distinctive shift for me happened around, I think, 2010 or 2011. That's when I saw a distinctive change with Mike. So I guess that's it. I'm going to try to just kind of, you know, sum everything up that I could. So this is my analysis of Mike Ohearn, the legend Mike Ohearn, the Titan Mike Ohearn. He's a unique individual, guys. Say what you want, but you know, for you to be that consistent for that long, if he was using massive amounts of anabolic and or androgenic steroids, you know, he would have already, you know, been on the decline. And then you guys are going to come back and say, oh, he just uses low doses and all that other stuff. I mean, I'm just not buying it. The guy just, you know, day in and day out, week in and week out, year in and year out, decade in, decade out, the man is just consistent. And most people just want to, you know, they don't want to attribute his success to hard work, consistency. And what I mean by consistency, we're talking on every single level. The weight training, the cardiovascular, obviously the flexibility because he has a background in martial arts, the supplementation, the focus. The man's incredible. And most people just could never get to that level, and myself included. I want you to know that. I'm not trying to say I'm anywhere near Mike Ohearn. Never was, never will be. But I want to give credit where credit is due, and I think Mike Ohearn is worthy of a tremendous amount of credit. And that's my analysis of Mike Ohearn. I think he's amazing. And you know what? Let's go back a picture. And I got to get going because this is getting too long. You know, him with the dogs and the way he goes and visits those really old people and terminally ill children and gives of his time. You know, the guy, I mean, every facet of his being is just brought to the upper level. And I've got to give him props. And you people just need to stop hating. You need to look at his life and say, you know, how can I be a better person? How can I be a better individual? You know, how can I make a difference? There's the natural supplements people give him crap for all the time. And I don't think he deserves it. You know, a lot of hate going on out there in YouTube land. And I'm sure I'll get a bunch back at me, and that's fine. You know, whatever, bring the hate. It just inspires me to just, you know, be steadfast and do the right thing. And that's where it's at. And I'm Lorenzo Blake, and I'm out.